Welcome to the Art of Leverage. I'm Tiffanie Kellog. I'm very excited to be joined today with our guest, Jim. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So tell us, what is your company?
What is my company? My
Yes.
company is Orchid Black.
Okay.
We work with founders and CEOs who have built a strong business by all measures. They've achieved some tremendous success, but they need a little bit of help taking their company to the next level on a path towards some exit event. So we help them to achieve that.
So what does that process look like? What are you getting in there and really helping them do?
Yeah, so we knew, we always knew there was a need for an objective lens, if you will, to view a company's full potential. But nothing in the market existed that looked at an organization of a size which we deal with, which is usually between 5 and 50 million in revenue, from a 360 perspective. You know, there's consultants out there that'll look at pricing or packaging or business models or product or sales or marketing, but not from a 360 lens. And so the challenge was really, how do we create something comprehensive yet simple? Because founders can't really spend, $1 million on an army of McKinsey consultants. So we need a way to tell founders what they needed to hear about their business in a few short weeks. And the answer became what we call our value creation assessment, or VCA. It's a system that looks at a company from every angle: strategy, talent, revenue, product, operations. We spent a lot of time and energy figuring out the exact way to analyze these 5 pillars of an organization so founders don't have to. So, now we have something that's plug and play at every tech company that's seeking growth and exit. Sometimes I'm surprised a little how well it works in every situation. And we're able to tell a founder the exact steps that they need to achieve transformational success towards a big exit, which is what a lot of tech founders are looking to achieve. And just as the VCA is used to diagnose the what of a company that they need to grow and maximize the value of the business, we then leverage a playbook consisting of hundreds of blueprints or plays, the how, if you will, to operate the business alongside of founders.
And what made you so excited to make this happen and start doing this for companies and founders?
Yeah, I mean, your average founder, especially in tech, spends a lot of time and energy. I know I did when I was the founder, just kind of trying to experiment and tinker to see with what works. And to a degree, experimentation is extremely important, but founders waste so much time in years, especially as they're getting to, revenue ceilings like 5 million or 10 million or 20 million in revenue, doing what they used to because it's worked really well. And so, we really wanted to develop a playbook that helped founders push through to the next level of business evolution in each of those cases.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned a few times tech companies or big company or companies that you often work with, it sounds. Tell us more about your ideal client.
Yeah, so our ideal client profile is tech or tech enabled, at least 5 million in revenue, typically somewhere between 5 million and 50 million, and in the black, profitable, which is part where the name Orchid Black comes from.
Okay.
Where we can significantly increase the value of their business, at least 3x over the next 2 to 3 years. So helping them to flourish. And that's really important to us because we spend a lot of energy looking at it from a diligence, from an investment and acquisition perspective. And in doing so, we take the majority of our fees as upside that aligns our incentive with the value creation that we push in the business. And so everyone really wins at the end of the day. And so it's, we only take on so many clients in any given year, about 8 at most.
Okay.
It's a program. Think of it kind of like down market private equity meets consulting, if you will, where we have a playbook. We know we're going to be successful if we choose the right companies to partner with. And those 5 to 50 million tech companies, they're all founder led. So, and that's really important to us because that's at least one person that we're dealing with at the table, one person's motivations. not, a lot of different investors with their own,
Now here's the
obviously.
17 people that are trying to run the
Right.
organization now.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And how do you find most of your clients?
So most of them are referrals. I mean, those are always the best clients, is folks you've done great work for before, or folks in the ecosystem who've seen the work that you've done. But we're kind of starting to shift that towards not just referrals, but having a little bit more predictability of our own revenue, of our own client success. And so we have some direct marketing, SEO. We use a lot of intent data of people that are looking to exit within the next few years to drive our campaigns where we reach out. But really, the majority of our clients have been from either clients who we've had an exit for before and they came back a second time around, or a friend of theirs in their network that we've served before.
So when did you create this company?
So I've been doing this type of work with my co-founder, Stephen Horwitz, for the past 11 years. What we've been doing it within Orchid Black with a team of now about 30 for the last 5 years. And that's important because Stephen and I would do this for one or two companies at a time, because it's really hard work and takes a lot of time to get it right. But bringing on other people as we began to scale, others with more sales or marketing or M&A or operations or some skill set where they're even deeper than we were in one area, was really important to driving as much success as possible and moving as fast as possible. So we've been doing this for about 5 years at Orchid Black. Like I said, it's a really tight-knit team of about 30. And I've actually started to shift some of my efforts towards helping more than the 8 businesses than we can help in any given year, by starting a podcast, which is kind of become a good feeder for Orchid Black as well. I gotta say, but more importantly, 60,000 loyal listeners that are there to learn about all things growth, which allows me to serve a lot more than just the 8 companies that Orchid Black can serve in a given year.
So tell us a little bit, the name of the podcast, how often does it come out? What kind of content do you have?
Yeah, totally. So the podcast is called The Dirt, because being an entrepreneur and a business owner is really hard, dirty work. And it's really all about the stories that entrepreneurs and business owners face as they're growing their company, not necessarily from a 0 to 1 phase, but from the 1 to 2 phase or the 1 to 10 phase. All about finding product market fit, driving recurring revenue streams. When you're stuck, what did you do to get out of that path that was holding you back? Hitting the revenue ceiling of 5 million or 10 million, right? Needing to evolve pricing and packaging to be more in line with where the market was heading. All these things around companies that were at one point stuck, that got unstuck. Some are clients, others are friends, but at the end of the day, we're talking about all things growth.
Awesome. Speaking of growth and looking towards the future, we've talked a little bit about the past. Where do you see the company going in the next 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, so a few things. We're doubling down on some of the exits that we've had and using that money to fuel a capital vehicle that allows us to invest in our own work and in the companies that we're partnered alongside. So not only are we now investing our time, but we're investing capital in some of these businesses. So that's one thing that's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and more important to us to accelerate our success in driving these results. And we're capturing some incredible data along the way that we're looking at from a few different lenses, but really what it comes down to is kind of the first privately available set of meaningful data about how to get your company from one stage to the next as efficiently and effectively as possible, that we look forward to selling as a program to other companies who might be able to do what Orchid Black does, that allows us to then again serve more than the 8 companies that we serve in any given year, right? So it's really all about how do we help more businesses drive growth and increase the value of their business.
Gotcha. Love it. And so we talked a little bit about business. It's also work hard, play hard as part of my mindset. At Asentiv, we talk about the amazing business, spectacular life. So when you're not helping those 8 companies and the podcast and all the other stuff that you've got going on, what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, so I'm having a son in 2 months, which is cool. And so I'm spending a lot of my time and energy prepping for that new evolution of my
Is
life.
that the first child?
As our first child, so the guest bedroom's becoming the baby room, right? The office is evolving to be a little smaller to accommodate for our playroom, right? All these things. My college couch that I've been in love with for the last 15 years has to go, and we have to now have a grown-up couch because the cushion is falling out of or the stuffing is falling out of it. Probably the good evolution that I should be having anyways, that my wife's been driving me nuts about. But so yeah, that's a big part of, my next stage in my personal life. I this year has been a big kind of self-reflection journey from a faith perspective and spirituality perspective too. So I put a lot of energy into being the next version of who God wants me to be, which is really important to me. Yeah, I think like those are two pretty big things. Other than that, I like to have a lot of fun. I like to, play sports, basketball, football. We've got a really awesome team here at Orchid Black that does a lot of that together, which is pretty fantastic. And I like to travel.
And I take it
I
you're
got
a
my,
Bucks fan. I see the Bucks hat.
it's kind of funny. I'm actually a diehard Packers fan, but I've become a Bucks fan here, and living in Tampa, love Tampa. I think we're in for a rough year with both teams, so I'll probably switch between the two, whoever's winning that week.
It's ever changing. Yeah, I
It's
haven't
never
heard too much.
changing.
I pay a little bit of attention to football, not a ton, but it is fun that we've got some good teams here locally. And the weather
Yeah.
to play the sports pretty much year
Well,
round.
we'll have hockey. I think the Lightning are going to be good for a while, so that's the good news.
So if people are interested in learning more about you, about your company, where can they go online to find you?
Yeah, so Dirt Podcast is blowing up. We're doing great things for entrepreneurs to tell their story. So that's The Dirt with Jim Barnish, Spotify, Apple Music. You can find us anywhere. Orchid Black, I mean, if you know somebody who is a little bit stuck in their business and have a desire to be more tech forward or are a software company themselves, I'm open to having a conversation with anyone, whether it's a good fit for our program or not. And the best way to reach me is I'm all over LinkedIn at Grow Smart, Grow Fast. That's our motto. That's my motto. And that's what we do. So otherwise, you can reach me at jb@orchid.black.
Makes it nice and easy. Now, I know
Yeah.
you're based here in Tampa. Do you work with people in Tampa only, in Florida only, in the US only, or where's your kind of area that you service?
Yeah, US only, but a lot of the work that we do is for companies that aren't necessarily based in the US that are looking to expand into the US. We do aside from that, it's really, all over the United States. We're really remote, we're really nimble. I think you have to be in today's day and age, especially if you're a tech company. So that's if you're in the US or you're looking to move and expand into the US, we're an option for you.
Well, before we go, I'd love to ask just one tip, give us some of the dirt of one tip that you might have for the entrepreneurs watching this if their goal is growth.
Yeah, I mean it may be a little cheesy, but it's the opposite of our USP or our unique selling proposition. I think a lot of companies try to grow fast but not smart. And nailing your niche, understanding who you are and what you're bringing to the world is incredibly important, and it's not just important from a you perspective, but from a value to your customer perspective. And I see so many companies trying to do too much for too many businesses. I'll even take my own experience. Prior to starting Orchid Black, I spent about a year in venture capital, selecting only the best deals with a slight chance of being the next 100x investment or a unicorn, if you will. That model, while it has a lot of success, has a lot of failure to it as well, because it results in a few big wins, which is great for the investors and great for the companies that hit that. but it's all about growing as fast as you can and not necessarily always as smart as you can. So throw a lot of money at a problem and let the problem solve itself. This is largely due to the focus of trying to just grow fast first. Ultimately, I've seen so many founders diluted so far down the cap table that's barely even their company anymore because they raised so much money. I've seen so much capital at the table that companies begin to believe they're too big to fail. And after all, there's a reason why 95% of tech companies fail.
Yeah.
So I think it's all about growing smart first, and then using that set of learnings to then focus on growing fast.
Well, Jim, I want to say thank you so very much for sharing today about you, about your amazing organization, the vision of where you're going to take it, and that great tip for the entrepreneurs.
Excellent. Thanks for having me, Tiffanie.
All right, y'all, stay tuned. We will be coming at you soon with another episode of The Art of Leverage. I'm Tiffanie Kellog. Happy networking, y'all.
Happy networking.